Hello, today I'm taking a look at the Voron 2.4 Revision 2 kit from FYSETC. The kit comes well packaged in 2 boxes with 3 layers of foam trays, securing the components in place during shipping, and was provided free of charge by FYSETC for the purpose of a review. No money changed hands, and all opinions are my own. First up, we have the wiring conduits. These are key to a tidy build and wire management, with removable tops for easy wire routing, and can be attached to the bottom plate with VHB tape. Next up, we have the DIN rails. These screw into the extrusions that hold the bed in place for a secure connection in ease of mounting the electronics. Next up, we have the linear rails. Here you get 6 MGN 8H and 1 MGN 12H for the updated Trident configuration of the X-axis. The quality of these rails are some of the best I've had from China. No grit or rough spots, and only a light coating of rust prevention oil. And you only need to give them a quick flush with some IPA and apply some grease to the ball track. Then we have the hardware kit. This is well labelled and has an index sticker listing all the components and what bay the parts are in. You also get a V6 clone with a stock heat brake, but they've also included a bimetallic heat brake. Included are the spec threaded heat inserts, and the only part that stands out to me are the M5 washers. These are washers rather than precision 1mm shims, so have a very slight burr on the underside from the stamping process of making washers. These should still work, but remember to put the smooth side facing the plastic part. The black oxide screws come with a light film of rust prevention and thankfully are not drenched in oil. Next up, we have the LCD screen with ribbon cables. This is the small form factor 12864. And this is the RGB version. The kit includes 7 TMC2209 drivers. These are the 3.1 FYSETC version that come pre-configured in UART mode. And we also have the XY end stop PCB if you're going with K10 switches rather than Hall effect for your end stops. Now we move on to the frame kit. This comes with the 45-degree end caps for the bed frame. I picked the black frame for this build, and the extrusions are finished really well and are cut before anodizing, so the whole of the extrusion is black. I'll add some B-roll here so you can see the quality of the finish. Here we have a box of tape and foams. We get the VHB tape, the 1.75mm Bowden tubing, a pack with 5.1 and 5.3mm foam tape for your panels, and 3 cable chains. For anyone printing parts before you get the kit, these are the 3 mounting hole cable chains. In this kit we have the fans for the printer and the Nevermore kit. These are the Keizu fans with the hydraulic bearings and should be quieter and last longer than sleeved bearing fans. And in this bag we have the carbon filters, magnets and hardware for the Nevermore. It's nice to see they've included these with the kit, being a user mod rather than a stock part. We now come to the cable box with 19 pre-crimped and cabled looms. Straight off the bat we have another user mod, the very popular clicky mod with all the hardware less the printed parts. Some fan cables. I expect that's for the Nevermore judging by the length. The UART harness for the Raspberry Pi. A thermistor. This looks like the ZN stop board. Yep, I believe this is also compatible with the Sex Bolt. Yes, that's a real thing. That's a nice click. Is it Omron? Yeah, it seems to be. Some alternative servo wiring for the toolhead loom. A USB-C cable. Forked and ferrule power supply cables. X and Y end stop cable. Heater cartridge. Fork terminal for grounding the bed. And then we have a toolhead PCB. This looks like the afterburner PCB. Let's cut it open and have a look. Yep, that's the afterburner PCB. You may want to look into other options for the stealth burner. The fused IEC main switch. PSU to mainboard cables. ZN stop cables. Solid state relay signal wires. And here you have the main wiring loom. This is wired up to match the afterburner PCB and is made of 20 gauge FEP wire. Nice to see them using FEP here. Again, nice to see that they are not cutting costs at the price of safety. Somewhat of a rarity in 3D printing these days. But with the popularity of Voron, I think they are aware of how much scrutiny they will come under if they did cheap out. And here we have the Omron TLQ5M. Personally, I would go with a clicky or a Voron tap over a proximity sensor, but it's nice that they include it. Finally, the Cat5 cable for the pass-through for the Pi, if you can find one. The kit comes with the Voron specified Meanwell LRS-200-24 power supply, and this looks like a genuine article to me. Don't forget to set it to the correct voltage. Next up we have the Mainboard. And here we have the Spider version 2.2. You may want to double check the board that you get with your kit, as there are 4 revisions of the V2 out at the moment, and your kit may ship with a V2.3 MCU. I love the silk screen on the Spider board, giving you all the pin numbers, very handy, and an adorable surface mount ceramic fuse. Next up we have a box with a few ancillary parts. Starting with the Wago connectors. I love these things. A bit of plastic that looks suspiciously like a terminal shield for the power supply. The obligatory snippers, nice to see. Cable ties. The Keystone Cat 6 port. 6x3mm magnets. Pneumatic fitting, SD card, and the activated carbon infused filter foam. Next up we have a large box of Kinematic components. (5 and 10mm woven sleeve), a power cable, the belt loops, a bunch of JST headers and crimps, 695 and 625 bearings, 6mm G2 pulleys, 9mm pulleys, some clip-on cable markers, drive belts, these are Gates branded, our rods. This is nice, they all come pre-ground with flats, including the notch for the Z end stop rod. More pulleys. A metal DIN mount for the included Omron SSR. More pulleys and idlers. This is interesting, looks like they've gone with black 80 tooth pulleys for the Z drive assembly. Finishing looks good, but depending on your colour scheme you might want to grab an unfinished set, as a slither of them will be visible on the final build. For me it's fine with a black frame. The updated amplifier feet for the revision 2. Four more Gates branded belts for the Z axis. And finally a set of Allen keys, which you will inevitably lose, but nice to see them included. Moving on to the motor box. We have a nicely packed set of motors, 4 here for the Z, 2 for the A and B, and a pancake for the afterburner. All the cables are nicely labelled, and these motors are the Voron 2.4 specified 17HS19 2004S with a 1.8 degree step angle and a very common 59 Newton-centimetre holding torque and the 2 amp rating. Now we can move on to the last box. In here we find a silicon heat pad, in my case a 220 volt 600 watt pad, with a built-in thermistor and inline thermal fuse. In this case 125C, so depending on what your needs are you may need to bump that up a little bit. The kit also includes an optional bed insulator, a double-sided spring steel flex plate with powder coated texture on one side, and a smooth PEI sticker on the other side with FYSETC branding. Nice to have the sticker as a replaceable option. Then we have the magnetic sticker for the bed. This doesn't have holes cut for the screws, so you're going to have to do that yourself after attaching the sticker to the bed. Speaking of the bed, You get an 8mm Mike 6 aluminium bed, so shouldn't have an issue with warps due to internal stresses. We also have the holes drilled, countersunk and tapped where appropriate. The last part of the kit is the acrylic panels. Extruded black acrylic for the bottom and the back. And clear cast acrylic for the doors, the sides and the top. I can't make a recommendation regards to the kit until I've actually built it, but my first impressions from this unboxing are that they've cut costs in the right places, the only exception being the washers rather than shims. But that is negated by the positive things they have done, such as the quality of the rails, the FEP wiring loom, the convenience of the organiser box for the components, quality extrusions, and in all a very well packaged kit. If you're interested in actually seeing a review of the printer once built, please hit that subscribe button. Any questions, just post in the comments below, and thank you for watching.